Today, our guest is Dr. JYOTI R. BHIVANKER, DHMS, practicing since 24 years in Mahim. UK certified user of bachelor remedies, USA certified in graphology, that is handwriting analysis, Reebok certified fitness advisor, passionate user of biotissue salts, counseling psychologist, and a Hasmudra therapist, diet and fitness advisor. Felicitated by BMC in Mumbai for work done in Dharavi as a COVID Yotha April 2020. Represented as homeopaths from Mumbai in first international Ayush conference in Dubai. Conducts rural and urban camps with homeopathy. Moderator for various CME conducted by Medical Practitioners Association. Trained classical dancer and avid traveler. A lot of discussion about her. And the subject is Power of Mind, Discover Healing with Bachelor Remedies, Dealing with Emotions. Wonderful topic. On behalf of IFPH, I'm welcoming you, Doctor. You can have the platform for the next 45 minutes. It's over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. So before I start, as I always start with a prayer, just a very small one. So you could be with me or just be in emotions with me. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kurumer Devo Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Thank you so much for being with me. We had our one session earlier just to introduce the batch flowers to all of you. I believe that there are a lot of people who are consulting homeopaths, but we also have a few people who are lots into interest about batch flower as such for their personal use, as well as to understand these remedies in brief and how to use it in practice. So putting everything together, like you can see, I'm going to share a few cases with you, maybe a little recap about what it is, maybe just a few things. Is the slide visible to all of you? Yes, sir?
Of course.
Right. Yes, yes. So let me just go through. Yeah, this is just what I would say since it's there with you. Right. Yeah. I've been practicing with this just to add a little bit, something nice, which happy to share with you all. I just got cleared with my examination of in the University of Mumbai for yoga as a practicing therapist. So this is something I would add to my other things. So I'm very, very happy to share with you. So now maybe henceforth I could share a few tips about even yoga and asana and how we could put it together in our personal use, as well as in explaining the right asana for our patients, right? So this is what, like I've always said, it's been practiced all over. Started founder member person was Dr. Edward Batch, and how his whole thing worked and went ahead, more about treating the mind, suggesting the healing of a sick person rather than healing a sick body. So the more importance is given to what is mind, and to understand the emotions behind it, right? The concept of batch flower remedies has been based on the personality types, which we all know. So what we need to know is the treatment to overcome these disturbing thoughts. Example, a lot of fears or depressions or worries or anxieties, all of that, you know. So we need to find the remedy which can deal with every single human emotion, right? This is the, as you know, how scientifically it is backed up, so that we know how important it is that there is a science behind usage of the batch flower for each and every emotion which we come across. See, when we are sitting and when we are taking a good case taking, which is the most important thing for each one of us, let me tell you, a good case taking is a part of selection of the best remedy. Let me tell you, so don't compromise in it ever. There are no shortcuts to a good case taking. We have to be good in that, right? To understand the personality, most important, right? And then to understand basically is what are the 7 principles it's based on, and henceforth we have done this last time. Role play of batch flowers, most cases is physical issues are treated with different system of medicines, as we know, and emotional problems are treated with psychoanalysis, medication, therapy and counseling, And this is where we will try and select one of the best ones. So each negative state of an individual is treated by encouraging the positive state of the person, right? How it works is what I'm trying to say, the approach. Each remedy has a peculiar emotional state, right? So what we need to understand is the feeling and understand the personality type. And this system being very simple and easy to understand, we need to understand all the 38 batch flower remedies to its core and how to treat each and every emotion separately, but how, when it comes together in a person, how to peel it individually is what we have to know. Okay, so like I have written here, you can read, used to treat internal as well as external disorders, and it primarily works on the psyche. So it is important for us to consider the causes and the contributing factor. So what are the questions which we could ask and have an answer to from the patients or a person whom we are treating is, how do I feel? We could know. So they could be saying if they're sad or they're tired or they're restless or fearful and all. Why do I feel so? So they will give us a cause, basically, because maybe I'm always angry or I'm in a rush or want to run about or do things. So we get to know the causative factor. What kind of a person am I? That means we are trying to understand the quality, the nature of a person, whether the person is a shy kind, a very timid person, a very disciplined person, or a very dominant person. We get to know the personalities. So this how, why, and what are very important for us to understand what the personality type is. Okay, now let's this is very specific for a homeopath, like remedies which we give. Why should we as homeopaths know about it? So every time, no, when we select an homeopathic medicine, we do not know what is the potency to be selected, whether it is the right way to start the treatment. Should I start with a 1M? Should I start directly with a 50M or a CM? Or should I start with LM potencies? We are in a fix many a times. Plus, the first follow-up gives us always an idea where we have done, what we have done, what the case is telling us. So these are the times when with homeopath, if a BFR is understood, the batch flower remedies are understood, we could use this at the starting point or in the middle of the case, or even when we want to finish a case successfully, whatever the physical ailment may be. So this is how it's going to help for a holistic cure, especially even if it is there on the physical plane. Let me tell you, because I've handled loads of cases when you know that if there is a mental cause for a physical ailment, and if we treat that cause with the batch flower, then the physical ailment also has been cured. A lot of migraine cases, a lot of skin infections, all this have taken, which have taken a toll on the patients, are seen to get relieved. Right now, let me tell you this, that see, even earlier there were different names given to the diseases. Today we have new names like the COVIDs and all. We know a lot of variants keep coming in, mucormycosis, now we have the monkeypox, and we have a lot of these new things. The whole medical fraternity always keeps wondering what are the new names. So there are new drugs, but let me tell you, these 38 drugs by itself covers everything. That time it was tuberculosis, today it is COVID and monkeypox. To even till day today, if we know the how and the why and the what, we can treat any single ailment successfully. This is what it is. So as we know, usefulness is in all types of cases, can be taken for a few days or for a few months, depending on how intense is the situation. It is not at all addictive. Let me not be given for lifelong also. No need. You can just wean it off slowly and steadily once the person starts settling or understanding himself better and starts dealing with their own personalities. It's given in all age groups and very safe. I have given it for pregnant ladies, for senior citizens, even for infants, based on what the mother is feeling at that point of time when she feeds, when she's feeding, or even given at the time of what she had the feelings during pregnancy. Okay, that plays a very important role. So it can also be taken as an adjuvant, like I've always said. If you have a good diet plan, and if you are giving any other medication, if a person is on homeopathic medicine, or if they are on any Ayurvedic medicine, if they are in with any Unani medicines, or if they are taking any allopathic medicine, this batch flower can be given or used as an adjuvant. Plus, the best part is it is very effective, like in humans, also with plants as well as in animals. I've been treating lot of animals with this. Use this therapy for good flowering seasons also. So a lot of agriculturists also approach to see why the plants needs to be healthy. If they are emotionally good, they grow, give us a good crop, is what has been seen and proved. Okay. In day-to-day life also, we need to know the most initial presenting symptom, and then we can select the remedy, right? These are the 38 batch flower remedies, which most of us are aware of. If we know them in detail and understand them, if we know the comparative studies, if we know the differentiation between them, then we know how to combine them, how to use it individually, when to delete one, when to add a few. Only when you have understood all the 38 batch flower remedies thoroughly is what I would say, right? Now, okay, let me start with the first case, which I would like to present here is, I got this case some time back, around 3-4 years ago, and that's why I have named it as company shutdown. What I could see, this male of 45-year-old, he had this sudden loss, a change which happened in his life. What was the loss? There was this financial and loss at a job insecurity, which was there. Change was from routine of getting up in the morning, getting ready, taking the dabba and going to the office and work. There was nothing to look forward suddenly. What was the fear is what to do next and how to do it. Why? Because there was anxiety about the money and the responsibilities which he had at home. There were a lot of things which were unknown. For example, what if there is an illness which occurs? How to manage the whole system at home? And plus the loneliness, because this person is a bachelor and he didn't have anybody to share his woes with, which gave him more anxiety and more restlessness, which led to loss of interest in doing anything in his life, right? Now, what I have noticed here is lot of lack of concentration and focus. He had gone into a kind of a shell, where he was very tired, exhausted, no energy. The only feeling which he had was of hopelessness, and he was waiting to step out. Why was this happening to him? Because it was an emotional and a mental shock that his company had shut down. He had nowhere to go. He didn't know what to do. He took a lot of psychiatric treatment, and he realized that he was put on certain medicines which only and only helped him calm down by going to bed, sleeping throughout the day. See, he tolerated it for a couple of weeks, but it didn't go down well with him because he wanted to get up and do something, but he didn't know how to go about it. That was the issue. So the best medicine coming at that point of time is SOB, which is the Star of Bethlehem. Why? It's given basically for those people who do not have the strength to bear whatever situations are undergoing and that devastating experiences which these people undergo. Okay. Along with that, what I could see is the symptoms, which are inconsolable grief, which he had. He was completely depressive. He had this fears or, behavioral disorder, because of which he could be only sitting at home, doing nothing related to only the unhappy circumstances, that why this happened to me, how am I going to go about it, what is this trauma happening about. His ability to focus on the future and the positivity towards his life had just waned off. So SOB, Star of Bethlehem, to give at that point of time, was the most identified with his personality which existed at that moment. Then along with it, there's another remedy, wild oat, which I selected for the unsurety of his path which he wants to choose post the shutdown of his company. He didn't know what is to be done. He didn't know what is the next step which he had to take. And with that, there was tremendous hopelessness, of a very, very long duration. He went through this hopelessness for around 7 to 8 months in a row. He had no faith. He had no faith in the doctors. He had no faith in himself. He had no faith in the counselors. And he was in extreme despair. A Gore's remedy comes place here where the hopelessness is taken care of. I thought of a very strong remedy of larch coming into the play here because he had no confidence to try out anything new. Nothing new was able to be tried out because there was fear of failure and lot of inferiority complex. He didn't know how to take his life further. So these medicines were chosen, the SOB, the wild oat, gourds, larch. Then what I chose was rock rose, a beautiful flower remedy which is given for the extreme terror and panic, because he used to go into this sudden frenzies. He didn't know how to tackle it. Suddenly stand in front of the cupboard and think, what am I going to wear? What am I going to do? I don't want to do anything. I don't know what to do, and sit quietly. This situation, let me tell you, my dear friends, happens to many of us at many given point of time. We don't want to accept it. We feel, okay, it's happening. It's okay. People will understand. But how about dealing with our own self? This picture needs to be identified well. And then I selected the water violet because he always had this desire to be left alone, because he felt he knew what he had to do. He is a very well-read person. There is no need of any guidance. I can do it all by myself. Nobody here can give a guidelines for him to go further. So there was a slight tinge of this pride in him. That's why the remedy of water violet along with the others were chosen. When I put everything together, after 3 weeks, what did I see? That state of shock had passed away. Behavioral change had happened. And what happened with him is he accepted the trauma of the company shutdown easily. See, that acceptance is very important. Whatever has happened to anybody, you need to first realize what has happened. Then you need to accept the situation, and then try to work towards it. If you don't follow the first 2 steps, you don't know where is the third step going to happen. So there was no more grief. He wanted to do something about his own state. I achieved this in first 3 weeks. So what did I do? So immediately after 3 weeks, I stopped SOV and rock rose, because I knew now he's out of that panic situation. He has understood himself well. And I continued with wild oat, gourds, larch, and water violet. Why? Because he still needed to come out of his helpless situation. He still needed to build up his confidence, and he still needed to take help from somewhere, which he was not doing for all this while. Okay. So what he started doing after that, he started calling a few people for advice because he wanted to come out of the situation. He was much calmer, much quieter, and ready to listen and hear out the advice given by others. So what I did was added a remedy called Sereto. Why? Because he was very unsure at that time of the self, and he needed that confirmation that yes, he can get advice from people. In the next 2 weeks, got help from his family member, and he tried applying for new job where he was very hesitant earlier, saying no one will offer him a job at that point of time. But why? Why this happened with him was because of his failures in his academics, relationships. Somehow his CV was never checked, at that point, why he is not getting a new job. So I continued with larch, white oat, and water violet, and I discontinued Sereto because he started gaining understanding that yes, he needs to confront people. And now what I added is pine. Why? Because there was despair due to guilt and unworthiness and self-reproach. This was the feeling which he expressed. He understood that he is feeling guilty, that there was something wrong in his resume earlier, which had gone unchecked, and yet he was pursuing with his job, which he was continuing for more than 20 years. And now at this point, he felt he has committed a crime by not being open about it. So he had that self-reproach, for which I added pipe. Okay. Within a week, my friends, he agreed to go and speak to the manager, tell the truth about where he stood academically. And that's why it was a wow moment for me as well as for him. Definitely, because there was no more helplessness. So now was the time I could discontinue Pine. What did happen with him in his life? The manager decided to give him a chance, told him to set things at home and get started with his job in next 15 days. Happy to get a new job. He had to manage his old parents at home, which he had to be left alone since he had lost his father also during the pandemic, which hadn't bothered him, but he had these responsibilities which had, which he had to look forward to and take care of his mom, not only by, providing money, but an emotional support. So what did I do here was I added walnut, because now it was a big change in his life. My friends, you're understanding. A person who was sitting at home doing nothing suddenly gets the joy of getting a new job, and he has to start a new job after going through that emotional trauma. Okay, and understanding that he doesn't have to feel guilty, he's open for a new job. It's a big change. So walnut plays a very important role. These outside influences which are there, no, which are very strong, which were happening to most of us in lot of jobs which were differently oriented. Okay, they didn't know what could be the next change occurring in life. It took almost 2 weeks to set things up at home. Yet the confidence was low. Digitalization was not his forte, so he had to work and cope up with it. So I continued with large wild oat water violet. He reported to the for work after 1 month, because it was possible with his influence which he got. So the earlier stage of the hopelessness, fear, and everything came back. He regained his confidence, stepped out of the house, used his own vehicle, went out to learn the new technology. Now came the time to stop wild oat. Within a few weeks, he reported back saying people are helpful in his new work. He could converse with them. He could get up daily with the desire to go and look forward to do new work constructively. So he was no more nervous, nor was he feeling inferior. It was this subtle change which made him do his daily course with comfort. So water violet was no more needed, and large was continued for a few more weeks just to build up his confidence. It almost took me a year, but he's absolutely settled now. His routine is much more comfortable. He has started attending many more family functions. He has resolved his own obstacles, has no complaint about the new responsibilities at work, at home. Now, this is the magic of the batch flower remedies and how we tackle the case every time it changes its colors. So, what I want to tell you here is only one single remedy is not all the time a game changer. We need to change the remedies as per the situation in life occurs. Remember one thing, in homeopathy also, if you read minutely with the organon, never has Dr. Hahnemann told us that a single remedy is going to cure the case. Every time, every step, life changes, brings us to different situations. We have to handle it step by step, which is called onion peeling technique in this batch flower remedy. So we have to slowly and steadily peel the leaves, of the onion and start going deeper, understand him deeper, and come to the wholesome picture of giving him relief so that he deals with the situation himself and is not dependent on medicines nor on the doctors. We have to make him free from all that support. This is the duty and the beauty of batch flower remedies. And as a doctor, the role play should be, he should be left free to handle and manage himself, is what I believe in completely. A support, see, a support of a relative or a friend or a doctor will be there temporary. We cannot stand by the person throughout his life. We can lead him somewhere. That's our aim, right? Let me go to a second case. Same way, since today is our case taking, you will understand how I have used these in different ways, right? This is a case of a jewelry business which took a toll on him. He had traveled a lot, this person who 47-year-old into jewelry business, and he had nothing to do now. He was stationed, locked down, going negative to worse. No clarity about any business. His earlier GST had certain changes. So what he felt was very trapped due to radical changes in the rules and regulations. He felt like a dead meat. Now remember, again, I'll remind you, a case taking has to be very strong. Write down the words, the way the patient tells you. Do not interpret it according to your own judgment and write your own words. No, write the words of the patient, how they tell us. Okay? He felt that he doesn't deserve to eat at home at all because he didn't contribute monetarily. He felt guilty. Now, living on somebody else's savings, father's money, his wife is a fitness trainer, so she did a few things. They have a son who had this ADHD. So his feeling was, earlier he used to be such a good person in sales. He was high on testosterone, is what he told me. He felt life was beautiful. And what had happened to him suddenly? No business, no jewelry, all shops shut down. What is he supposed to do? The world came to a standstill and he was less on emotional level. He thrived earlier on being called one of the best market guys, in the jewelry business. The entire world, according to him, was suffering during the lockdown. And he said, I don't care what the world is going through. I am worried whether my business is going to open, whether the jewelry shops are going to open, whether I'm going to start traveling again for my sales, whether I'm going to earn my money, whether I'm going to get my new car. And when I started asking in few more things, I saw physically also he had these issues like allergic rhinitis, asthma. He always required a pump to feel good and fresh. Sleep was completely disturbed. He said he expresses such thoughts to friends because he considers himself very frank and open. He continuously had these thoughts of how money could flow, when it could come, wanted to work. He meditated daily. He tried all his best, my friends, all his best, but he had no results. We were very protective towards his family, needed people around him, didn't like to separate out. He was a party person, but at that point of time, he didn't know what to do. He believed in giving and having space for himself, So his dream, he said, can just not shatter because of the lockdown and no business. He wanted to have a clear vision in his life. He had already framed, his lifestyle. He felt, many of his friends felt that he had very unrealistic dreams. But he said he has always struggled to achieve something good and he has always been a winner. Now, why things are not working with me, doctor, is what his question was. So he started comparing himself with others. He was very doubtful about things which he was doing. And as the evening would set in, his battle of thoughts would increase and his setbacks would come in the forefront. He used to have the fears of the same events which we had in the past in his childhood. So putting everything together, what I could see here was loads of anxiety, panic, restlessness, lot of overwhelming thoughts, situation not under control, the shock and the trauma which he got for a lockdown or the stoppage of his business, a grief suddenly came in, the strain and the stress which he felt of how to support the family. He became more self-centered that I have to do my bit. My friends don't play any big role in my life, and started blaming himself. Why can't I get better? Became very oversensitive to the situation. And at that point, because of the comparison which he had with his friends, he started having this hate and jealousy about them. He asked me, you won't believe, for a 15 to 20-minute session. And he just went on for more than an hour. Immediately, I started with him with rock, rose, and SOB. Because imagine a person who said he didn't actually require help. He has come because his wife has suggested that he should talk to me. I'm just going to get done with myself, doctor, just 15 minutes and that's it. I don't have anything to share. If you have something to help me out, give me, otherwise it's okay. This is how he had started when he took an appointment. And imagine, when I was just a good listener, I allowed him to speak and he spoke for an hour and 20 minutes. So, Rockrose SOB, within 1 week, when he called me, he said, I'm feeling good. What is it? I said, what is good? He said, I feel a little calmer. I think I can think now. I don't want to talk more. Whatever you want me to do, I'm ready to do. So I said, please continue the medicine. And then I added Heather. Why? Because he was so self-centered, so very talkative, and he needed that company and somebody to share his woes to, which was me. Probably at home, his wife, his parents, or his child were not in a position to understand his anxiety, probably. So he shared out everything. He just vomited out everything to me. Then I added Holly. Why? Because of that hatred which he had developed and the jealousy about his friends, that okay, oh, he's running his business, he's managing his shop, why my jewelry business is not picking up? He's managing his home, when am I going to do it? For that, impatience, because of the lack of patience which he showed, along with the irritability, that thought in which he started the conversation, I don't need the time, it's okay, if you can treat me, it's okay. So he needed that calmness within him, and added walnut because he was oversensitive to the change and very, very unwilling to adjust to that present situation. Okay, you're getting me? Now, as I went in, he told me he had to use the pump earlier twice in a day, my friends, and now he needed it only once at night. This is how we started, okay? In next 4 weeks of the medicine, he spoke to me for only 10 minutes. Thank God for that. Saved my time and I could take in more follow-ups. His speed, his tone, his attitude of talking was much softer, felt empathetic towards his own friends and professionals and his business colleagues. So now was the time for me to withdraw wholly and impatience and continue with walnut. Okay. And Heather too. Added aspen here because that anxiety about his business and his approach towards it, taking new step, had to be built up. White chestnut was added here. So there was, because this continuous thoughts which were bothering, giving him sleepless nights. Next few weeks, he called me twice to say, can I use the pump on alternate days, doctor? I'm okay, I can sleep better now and I don't feel breathless. Oh, wow, I told myself. So I said, okay, now the time to withdraw aspen. Okay. And added larch to complement with white chestnut to build up his confidence and develop his will to succeed. Couple of weeks later, he found some way online to take up new projects, build up his business. And I continued with large, giving him gentian because he had this last a few setbacks to give him a little more faith and courage. Let me tell you, remember these small things whenever a person is talking to you, when he has this doubt about how to get back from the setbacks. Okay, that is the reason I had added gentian. He started feeling much more happier, looked forward for better prospects in life. So now was the time to discontinue large, and why I added willow to gentian to take care of that anger and the resentment and that blaming factor. He always blamed, why lockdown has happened, why my parents are not allowing, why nobody's supporting me, how am I going to manage everything and the situation. So he had to forgive himself and others. That was the reason I had added below. Within 6.5 months, let me tell you, my friends, when the lockdown had opened up a bit, if you all can remember, he started traveling with special permission for business. Which added to his happiness quotient. Started sleeping better. And one fine day, he asked me, Doctor, do I really need to carry my inhaler? And I said, oh my God, now this is a difficult question for me. I said, definitely. If I need it, I shall buy it there because actually I don't feel breathless at all. I can manage because I'm very happy with the new job, with the new success in my life. I have learned things online. I'm presenting things to my friends. And now I don't need an inhaler to have good sleep. All the magic of batch flower has helped me, right? So this was the second case. I think if I keep telling you a lot of long cases, it will take time. I'll give you a few small things or tips which could take you further. These two long cases have helped you, I'm sure, to tell you how to go step by step, deleting few remedies, adding new ones according to the situation. Do not stop yourself. Remember, case taking, patient's words, add the medicine according to the feelings, not what you feel. Go by his feelings. Batch flower is based completely only on the feelings, my friend. It takes care of the mind and so also the physical ailment, right? I'll just tell you, for example, whenever a person has that feeling that he is completely helpless, he is in despair, he cannot do anything, Gorse comes to his help, Gorse. But when a person uses his strength and character to control and dominate, rather than being in a persuasive situation, then wine is the picture for us to understand. At the same time, let me tell you, olive can be used for people who are very tired and exhausted after a very traumatic mental or physical ailment. Like one can use it for doctors, for nurses, or those who are working day in and day out for some purpose and get exhausted. Uh, we recognize this exhaustion and we have to stop them from feeling completely drained out. It helps to regain their rest and their energy, is what I want to tell you. It's very important. Okay, let me just go further. There are a lot of cases, but let me tell you something short. Okay, I'll just tell you this. Okay, see, this was a nurse who came to me on 12th of November 2020. Constant duty in hospital, change of timings regularly, old parents at home to be taken care of. She had she had a daughter who had to do her studies online, her husband a BMC worker, and she had been in the COVID center for more than 6 months. She was completely stressed out, cried, got irritable, BP shot up, irregular period, disturbed sleep, anxiety, losing weight, all of that. So the remedy selected for her at that point of time was elm. The reason we should all know is she was overwhelmed for all the situation around, lot of things, lot of responsibilities. Okay. And she didn't know how to manage it. One single remedy helped her in a long way was elm, because all the factors was overwhelming. She had to attend duty, look after her parents, look after the child, all of that, manage home, daily chores, doing up everything. So elm helped her a lot. This is in short, which I told you, so you could understand how to go further. One more thing. This boy, young college going boy, just passed 10th grade. new admission in college, was looking forward for a new phase in life, but no colleges had opened up. He wanted to buy new clothes, shoes, all of that. Started getting very irritable and stubborn, back answering parents, snappishness, and never slept for long hours in the day, playing only with mobile, arguing with his younger sister, with everybody at home, and very restless. One remedy stands out as impatience, because everything covers under a bigger bracket of showing impatience. So this is how, if you understand what is going through a person, you will be able to recognize which remedy can be selected at that point of time. Go with the present time, give him that, and then start opening up the layers. Okay, these are quite long cases. I would like to tell you a little more about all these things. I teach in the modules to understand, but these are a few tips which I would tell you at this point of time is, when you face your fear daily, whenever you talk, you feel you may lose yourself and lash out, cherry plum is the remedy for you. If you want to live your day, you're doing things, but without any interest or without any enthusiasm, wild rose is the remedy for you. When you want to firmly stand your ground, for example, many a times we feel it hard to say no. Why? Just to gain a little more respect and appreciation. Mostly it happens with ladies, because we are at home, we are busy in our work, we are cooking, and suddenly somebody calls and say, I have this work, I have to come and meet you, and we find it very difficult to say no. Okay, you come, and then we say, I had to do this, I had to do that, and I had to attend somebody else. Centauri is the remedy at that point of time. Okay, then I have placed as a reached out. If you feel everything around you is going very slowly, people are around you who are dull, and your pace is more, impatience is the remedy for you, right? When you want to find joy and hope for something to be done in your own life, because you're feeling guilty and you're blaming yourself for your wrong decisions and actions, whatever you have taken, pine is the remedy for you. Another remedy which helps to live your life and live others also, because you tend to set up high goals by being a perfectionist and don't want to be flexible, very stubborn in your place, is rock water. Improves this state. All this comes if you read the books of The Art of Case Taking by Per Schmitz, The Essential Writings by Dr. Edward Bach, Certain Cases Study by Judy Howard, and Workbook by Stephen Baum. This would give you a little understanding about how to take up the cases, how to understand importance of case taking without being judgmental. Only do what is required is a good hearing, patient listening, and writing down the words of the patient. Then you understand how Edward Bach has told you the importance about selection of remedy. Certain Cases by Judy Howard, which helps you to select, identify certain remedies and go further in your life of treatment. As of now, my session finishes here to explain, and I just narrated a few cases from my end. I hope that is going to help you understand your cases better. And before I completely finish, I want to tell you, my friends, this is how I have started off with the modules I've been teaching. It's a virtual module, not only for doctors, but also for general other people in 3 levels, module 1, 2, and 3, which I take in certain sessions to understand a detailed study of all the Bach flower remedies. Then I make you understand what is the comparisons between the remedies, what are the groups of remedies based on different emotions, and what are the keynotes you could select when a patient is right in front of you and you don't have the time to open your book and understand, or if you're getting confused between 10 remedies. And lastly, in the last third module, I do the application of these remedy with a live case taking under JYOTI clinics. Okay, so any one of you who needs to understand more about this are all welcome to join this. You can take a picture of this slide so that you have the number with you and you could get in touch with us. We will tell you, we could update you about the forthcoming modules and when we are going to start with it and how it goes further. This is what I would tell you all. Really, thank you so much.